tare tu mama ayojana punye pushtam kuru soha. Om tare tu mama ayojana punye pushtam kuru soha. Om tare tu mama ayojana punye pushtam kuru soha.
Om Tare Tu Re Mama
Ayojana punye pushtam kuru soha. Om tare tu re mama ayojana punye pushtam kuru soha. Om tare tu re mama ayojana punye pushtam kuru soha. Om tare tu re mama ayojana punye pushtam kuru soha. Om tare tu re mama ayojana punye pushtam kuru soha. Om tare tu re mama ayojana punye pushtam kuru soha. Om tare tu re mama ayojana punye pushtam kuru soha. Om tare tu re mama ayojana punye pushtam kuru soha. Om tare tu re mama ayojana punye pushtam kuru soha. Om tare tu re mama ayojana punye pushtam kuru soha. Om tare tu re mama ayojana punye pushtam kuru soha. Om tare tu re mama ayojana punye pushtam kuru soha. Om tare tu re mama ayojana punye pushtam kuru soha. Om tare tu re mama ayojana punye pushtam kuru soha. Om tare tu re mama ayojana punye pushtam kuru soha. Om tare tu re mama ayojana punye pushtam kuru soha. Om tare tu re mama ayojana punye pushtam kuru soha. Om tare tu re mama ayojana punye pushtam kuru soha. Om tare tu re mama ayojana punye pushtam kuru soha. Om tare tu re mama ayojana punye pushtam kuru soha. Om tare tu re mama ayojana punye pushtam kuru soha. Om tare tu re mama ayojana punye pushtam kuru soha. Om tare tu re mama ayojana punye pushtam kuru soha. Om tare tu re mama ayojana punye pushtam kuru soha. Om tare tu re mama ayojana punye pushtam kuru soha. Om Tare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pushtam Kuru Soha. Om Tare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pushtam Kuru Soha. Om Tare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pushtam Kuru Soha. Om Tare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pushtam Kuru Soha. Om Tare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pushtam Kuru Soha. Om Tare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pushtam Kuru Soha. Om Tare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pushtam Kuru Soha. Om Tare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pushtam Kuru Soha. Om Tare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pushtam Kuru Soha. Om Tare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pushtam Kuru Soha. Om Tare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pushtam Kuru Soha. Om Tare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pushtam Kuru Soha. Om Tare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pushtam Kuru Soha. Om Tare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pushtam Kuru Soha. Om Tare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pushtam Kuru Soha. Om Tare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pushtam Kuru Soha. Om Tare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pushtam Kuru Soha. Om Tare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pushtam Kuru Soha. Om Tare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pushtam Kuru Soha. Om Tare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pushtam Kuru Soha. Om Tare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pushtam Kuru Soha. Om Tare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pushtam Kuru Soha. Om Tare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pushtam Kuru Soha. Om Tare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pushtam Kuru Soha. Om Tare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pushtam Kuru Soha. Om Tare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pushtam Kuru Soha. Om Tare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pushtam Kuru Soha. Om Tare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pushtam Kuru Soha. Om Tare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pushtam Kuru Soha. Om Tare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pushtam Kuru Soha. Om Tare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pushtam Kuru Soha. Om Tare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pushtam Kuru Soha. Om Tare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pushtam Kuru Soha. Om Tare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pushtam Kuru Soha. Om Tare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pushtam Kuru Soha. Om Tare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pushtam Kuru Soha. Like bees buzzing around a beehive. Om Tare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pushtam Kuru Soha. Om Tare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pushtam Kuru Soha. Om Tare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pushtam Kuru Soha. Om Tare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pushtam Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Pusham Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Ture Mama Ayojana Punye Om Om Tai Tu Tai Ture Mama Ayujana Punye Pusham Guru Soha. Om Tai Tu Tai Ture Mama Ayujana Punye Pusham Guru Soha. Om Tai Tu Tai Ture Mama Ayujana Punye Pusham Guru Soha. Om Tai Tu Tai Ture Mama Ayujana Punye Pusham Guru Soha. Om Tai Tu Tai Ture Mama Ayujana Punye Pusham Guru Soha. Om Tai Tu Tai Ture Mama Ayujana Punye Pusham Guru Soha. Om Tai Tu Tai Ture Mama Ayujana Punye Pusham Guru Soha. Om Tai Tu Tai Ture Mama Ayujana Punye Pusham Guru Soha. Om Tai Tu Tai Ture Mama Ayujana Punye Pusham Guru Soha. Om Tai Tu Tai Ture Mama Ayujana Punye Pusham Guru Soha. Om Tai Tu Tai Ture Mama Ayujana Punye Pusham Guru Soha. Om Tai Tu Tai Ture Mama Ayujana Punye Pusham Guru Soha. Om Tai Tu Tai Ture Mama Ayujana Punye Pusham Guru Soha. Om Tai Tu Tai Ture Mama Ayujana Punye Pusham Guru Soha. Om Tai Tu Tai Ture Mama Ayujana Punye Pusham Guru Soha. Om Tai Tu Tai Ture Mama Ayujana Punye Pusham Guru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Tore Mama Ayurjana Punye Pushtum Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Tore Mama Ayurjana Punye Pushtum Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tutare Tore Mama Ayurjana Punye Pushtum Kuru Soha. Okay. So now we go to the supplication of the Seven Taras. They can use this text here. There's a text in the book, page 61, and continues on. And Khenpo Samdup has updated this translation. So that's what this is here. So if you turn to page 5, in the booklet, so here it says, when Lord Jigdan Sumgun had a vision of the seven Taras at Achung Cave, he supplicated them with this prayer known as the 7 verses of supplication to the protectoress Tara. It is widely known for its extremely powerful blessings. This prayer is from the root text of the commentary Supplication to the Ultimate Illustrious Tara by Khenpo Samdup Rinpoche. So he gave this translation. But the original text is from Lord Jigdan Sumgun, who is the founder of this lineage, the Drikungpa. I believe he was first a layperson who for many, many, many years was a yogi. He was by himself in a hermitage up north or up in the mountains away from Drikung, but near the village of Drikung. And he would come down periodically, and he would go around and meet people and so on like that. Then he would go back up into his cave and continue practicing. At some point, he came down and he went into the monastery with Pagmadrupa. So Pagmadrupa had this huge monastery that was, I've heard 500,000 monks went through this particular monastery over a period of time. And many found realization, discovered realization on their own and so on. And this monastery, Pagmadrupa, spawned many lineage masters who then formed their own groups all throughout Tibet and Ladakh and so on. But Ladakh at that time was part of Tibet. So it was very, very powerful what Pagmadrupa did. So Lord Jigdan Sumgun, he came down, he went into the monastery, and he eventually took vows. But this was after many years that he had been a yogi. So upon then being a monk, he then went back up into his hermitage up in Drikung, and he had this vision of the 7 Taras. So does anybody else have a variation on this story that they want to share? Somebody who's been joining with Khenpo Samdup or something like that. this is the way I know this story to be. But, you know, there's sometimes many different interpretations and parts of the story. It's legend, you know, because this goes back over 800 years ago. So Jigden Sumgun came down finally. Now he's had this realization of the Seven Taras and so on, and then he founded the Drikung Kagyu lineage. Drikung was the village in which this was done. It was part of the Kagyu lineage. Pagmadrupa was part of the Kagyu lineage. And just to refresh your memories on this, if you go to page 156 in your big book, you see these are the lineage masters. These are the Kagyu lamas. So the Kagyu lineage is actually the oldest lineage in Tibet that came out of the lineage of the Nyingma, which was the lineage of Padmasambhava. And then from Padmasambhava, then the Kagyu lineage came, and then the Shakya lineage came, and then the Galupa lineage came out of the Kagyu, became like a new karma tradition, and that became the Galupa. The Galupa now is the most popular, which is the lineage of the Dalai Lama. So, but the Kagyu is the oldest active lineage, and it is the lineage of the yogis. So they have great scholars within the Kagyu lineage, but their main thing is practice, to actually take those teachings and put them to practice. So the Kagyu lineage really supports that. So in the center here, in this picture here on page 156, you see in the center is Lord Jigden Sumgun, Lord Drikungpa. You can see his name at the very bottom of that box there. And then above him is Dorje Chang. And Dorje Chang is Vajradhara. So you've seen in many of our prayers and practices the name Vajradhara, and that means the indestructible Vajra holder. So Vajradhara is the primordial Buddha, so pure that he's not born, so pure that it is in the heart center of all the enlightened beings. And is in our heart center, and what we are trying to do is to uncover the blockages that's keeping us from recognizing that true nature, the Vajradhara nature. We're trying to become Vajradhara. So he's got a dark blue color, and around the perimeter of the shrine room upstairs, you see these lineage lamas up there. So Vajradhara is at the crown at the top. And then to the top left is Tilopa. And Tilopa was a monastic. He came from a aristocratic family, and he then became a monastic, and then he left the monastery and became a yogi who just lived on the beach and who would eat entrails of fish and so on. And very powerful. He had a strong realization of his being Chakrasamvara. And then on the opposite side, on the right side at the top, is Naropa. Naropa had been a great scholar at Nalanda University, and he left the monastery to find his true teacher, to teach him the meaning of the Dharma. And so his teacher was Tilopa. So he traveled to find Tilopa. This was all in India, to find Tilopa, and he spent I think it's either 12 years or 25 years, depending on what story you read, that he spent with Tilopa learning to be a yogi. Because he was a scholar, now he was learning to be a yogi. Then in the middle left is Marpa. And Marpa was the student of Naropa. And Marpa was a Tibetan. He was the first of the Tibetans to travel down to India to get the teachings, to get the Buddha teachings and so on, and he would take them back up to Tibet, and he would translate those teachings into Tibetan language. So he made 3 trips over the course of his life going down to Tibet, down to India to do that. So many would say that Marpa was the father of the Kagyu lineage because he was translating the texts and so on. But nevertheless, all of these are the lineage masters. So then Marpa had many, many, many students. His most famous and heart son was Milarepa, who is in the middle right side. And Milarepa was the great yogi saint of Tibet. So he's considered to be the great, how do you say, the saint of Tibet, like the patron saint. Thank you. Yep, I couldn't think of that word. The patron saint. So he had learned black magic to vindicate some terrible things that were done to his family, and he killed many people in his home village. And he became distraught after doing that, realizing what a terrible mistake he'd made, and he was seeking redemption. So after going through several different lamas and so on, he finally found Marpa, and Marpa gave him these purification deeds to do to purify his arrogance of his black magic and so on. And then he was able to then purify himself, and then he went off into the mountains himself and purified himself further and became a Buddha in his single lifetime. So he is the patron saint because he symbolizes, he is the epitome of a human being who does terrible things, who can redeem themselves and become a Buddha in a single lifetime. So he's revered throughout all of Tibet as being that. So all of us have that same ability if we can have the karmic seeds for that, and we have the commitment to practice to be able to develop that degree of purity and so on. So Milarepa then had many students, and his Dharma son, he had a heart son named Rechungpa, who was very, very devoted to him. But Rechungpa was kind of youthful, and he kind of went off on tangents on his own and so on. And he wasn't worthy of being the holder of the lineage after Milarepa would go. But Milarepa had another student, Gampopa, who is in the lower left. And he was a physician. He was a doctor of some notoriety. He was a little bit older, and he had lost his family to some disease, his wife and children, and he went into the monastery. And of course, he was very educated, being a physician and so on. So Milarepa, recognizing his ability, Gampopa's ability, he gave Gampopa the job of composing the jewel ornament of liberation, which is committing all the oral teachings of the time, because nobody was writing in these times. Most of these people were illiterate, but they could remember. They were smart, but they didn't have a language, or they didn't have a written language. So Gampopa wrote this book, or composed this book, which was a composite of all these different oral teachings and so on. And this became the first of what's called the Lam Rim text. And Lam Rim means stages of the path to liberation, the path to becoming a Buddha. So the Jewel Ornament of Liberation is that book, and that's the book that everything that we teach from basically comes from that book. So many of you have purchased that book and are studying it, and we reference it all the time in our Buddhism 101 classes and so on. So Gampopa was very powerful. He was the Dharma son of Milarepa. Then Gampopa had a monastery, and he had many students, and one of his students then was Pagmadrupa on the lower left, on the lower right. And Pagmadrupa then, he was the one that had 500,000 monks come through his monastery, and so he was a direct student of Gampopa. So then Pagmadrupa had these many students, and Lord Jigten Sumgun was one of those students. So when we, next week, Kenshin Rinpoche is coming. And Kenshin Rinpoche is the monk. He was the first of the Kagyu monks to come to America back in 1982. And he came to Washington and he founded the Tibetan Meditation Center. And that was the first Kagyu center in North America back in 1982. And his first job, or the first thing that he took under his first big project, was to translate all the different practices, the different sadhanas, into English for the English-speaking people here in America to begin to practice. So this book, this Deity Yoga book, is many of those practices that Kenshin Rinpoche translated for our benefit. So these are concise. Many of the teachings or the sadhanas that these come through would be quite thick, and it would take 2 or 3 or 4 days to do the whole practice. But he translated these in a short, concise way so that we could, for our benefit, so that we could begin to assimilate these into our own practices, into our own routine and so on. So he's coming here next week for Thursday, Friday nights, an all-day Saturday and all-day Sunday, and he's going to be teaching on what's called the Gong Chik. The Gong Chik is the single intention, and this is the most famous book of Lord Jigden Sumgun. Lord Jigden Sumgun, the founder of this lineage, and this was pith instructions on how to practice the Dharma, So Kenshin is going to be teaching on that. So if you have opportunity to come, you should. If you can do the whole thing, it'd be great. If you only can come for an hour or something like that, that'd be great too. But so Lord Jigden Sumgun, he wrote many different things, but the most significant was the Gong Chik. He also taught an essence of how to attain, practice the Mahayana practices, and he also taught the supplication to the Seven Taras. So that's what we're going to do today. He had this vision, this meditation vision of these Seven Taras, and then he wrote this supplication to each one. So what I just gave you was a short biographical teaching that is part of these transmissions, to learn a little bit of the history, a little bit of the background, to give you an authentication of what it is that we're doing, of this unbroken lineage and so on. So I do this as a lay person. It is abbreviated, but when you come for an empowerment or other teachings, the lamas who are ordained and grew up in the monasteries and so on, they will speak all day about things that I spoke of in 10 or 15 minutes. So you should always, when you have the opportunity, take advantage of being with them, because from their hearts to your hearts, from their hearts as Vajradhara to your heart, so that you can recognize Vajradhara in your heart, is the main message. What we say through our mouths and what you hear through our ears is only the outer meaning. The inner meaning is conveyed to us through the heart transmission, from their heart to theirs. So from my heart to you, I do the best I can, but I'm not a lama. So anyway, so now we come to the 7 verses of the Supplication of Tara. So what I'd like to do first is to read this through in the English, then we'll come back and we'll recite it in the Tibetan, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about each line in the English, and then get to recite it. You'll see how we'll progress with this, because this is very powerful, very pithy. Pithy means that it's very simple, very direct teachings. So as we do this, I think you'll recognize that. Does anybody have any questions or comments before we start? Okay. All right, so page number 1 in the English. In the realm of the unborn mother, the Dharmadhatu, abides the Reverend Mother, the deity Tara. She bestows happiness on all sentient beings. I supplicate Mother Tara of Dharmadhatu to protect us from all fears. Not realizing oneself as Dharmakaya, the minds of sentient beings are overpowered by negative emotions. These beings wandering in samsara are my mothers. I supplicate Mother Tara, deity of great compassion, please protect us. If the meaning of Dharma is not born in one's heart, one just follows the words of conventional meaning. We are deceived by delusory philosophical views and dogmas. I supplicate Mother Tara of perfect wisdom, please protect us. It is difficult to understand our own mind as Buddha's mind. Seeing great but not familiarizing through practice, we are lost in unwholesome worldly activities. I supplicate Mother Tara of perfect mindfulness, please protect us. The absolute nature of mind is self-arisen, non-dual Buddha wisdom. Yet, because of habitual grasping to dualistic conception, we are bound by it no matter what we do. I supplicate Mother Tara of non-dual wisdom, please protect us. Although we abide in the perfect meaning of absolute truth, we do not understand the interdependence of cause and effect on the relative level. We are ignorant about the true reality of phenomena. I supplicate Mother Tara of True Truth Omniscience, please protect us. Like the nature of space, which is beyond all conceptual limits, the reality of all conditioned phenomena is no different from that. But there are disciples on the path who do not realize it. I supplicate Mother Tara of perfect enlightenment of the three kayas, please protect us. So now back to the Tibet. There are several melodies that this can be recited in. We're going to do a simple chant for it. But there's YouTube on this. There's many ways to, if you enjoy this and want to hear more of the melodies and so on, you can do that. Plus the teachings are available on YouTube. So we begin on page 1, and they're singing a song up there for this memorial up there. All right, so ma ke wa me pe cho ying na yom je son la mo ja ma sho de sem chen kun la de ter ma dag ji pa kun le kyab su so rang cho ku yim par ma she par sem yong bong wang tu gyur pa yi ma kor war kyam pe sem chen la yom la mo kyo ki kyab tu so cho ning ne ku la ma nai pa ta ne te ki je drag ne drup ta nyen pe lu pa la yom yang da gi la mo kyab su so to par ka wa rang gi sem tog ne me ne she par cha wa nyen pe yen pa la yom jan pe la mo chab su so sam yang jong ni me yeshe la ne su jim pe dag jagi jitar che kyang shid pa na tog ni me gir la mo kyab tu so ya dangi don pa ne che kyang yu dre ki ten drel mi she pe se je dro la mon pa la yum kun yen gi la mo kyab tu so dro gel nam ke sem ni chen tam she de da gyur me ki da dong lo me gang zag la yong zog sang ge ki kyab tu so. Okay, so now notice that on page 1 is the first of the 7 Taras. So at the bottom it says Mother Tara of Dharmadhatu to protect us from all fears. So that's the first one. So those 4 lines are Mother Tara of Dharmadhatu, number 1. Then turn the page. Then The second 4 lines are the bottom line on that group, on that 4, is Mother Tara, deity of great compassion. That's number 2. And the next one would be the 4 next lines, and at the bottom of that would be Mother Tara of perfect wisdom. So that's the 3rd vision. Then on the next page, or the first 4, is Mother Tara of perfect mindfulness. That's number 4. I'm sorry, I lost track. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then the bottom of page 3 is Mother Tara of non-dual wisdom. And then number 6 is, on the next page, is Mother Tara of true truth omniscience. Omniscience, you should know, means all-knowingness. Omni means all, and science, psi means to know, all-knowing. Mother Tara of true truth omniscience. And then the last one, the 7th one, is Mother Tara of perfect enlightenment of the 3 kayas. So the 3 kayas are the 3 bodies of the Buddha. The Dharmakaya, which is the truth body, the Sambhogakaya, which is the subtle enjoyment body, and then the Nirmanakaya, which is the emanation body of the Buddha. So all this is all within ourselves, all there ready for us to be able to recognize. Okay? So now we'll go back to page 1 again. So we'll read this together. In the realm of the unborn mother, the Dharma Dhatu, abides the Reverend Mother, the deity Tara. She bestows happiness on all sentient beings. I supplicate Mother Tara of Dharma Dhatu to protect us from all fears. So this unborn mother of the Dharma Dhatu. So we talk about like this space, that we are in this phenomenal nature, and this space pervades everything that we do. And there may be things all in this space that we don't recognize. We see in 3 dimensions, but there may be 4 dimensions, 5 dimensions, 6 dimensions, 16 dimensions that are in this space that we don't recognize. So this is talking about in the realm of the unborn mother, the Dharma Dhatu, speaking that this is where we come from. The Tara is the mother of all of us, is the mother of all the Buddhas, the mother of the Dharma, the mother of all this wisdom, etc., comes from this deity Tara, from this mother Tara. So this is symbolic. It's not literal, but it is symbolic that there is this truth, this reality of things we don't recognize, but yet here is the body of all that we are part of. And we need to be able to purify all the confusion that we have with this phenomenal nature so that we can recognize this non-dual, pure essence of what it is, of where it comes from. And so this is a display of that, but we see it in its dualistic form. So we need to be able to purify the dualism, to cut through the dualism. So it says that she bestows happiness on all beings. I supplicate Mother Tara or Dharma Dhatu to protect us from all fears. So the fears that we have this phenomenal nature, we think we know, but yet we hold on to these things out of fear that if we don't know, if we don't attach to this, that we're just going to lose our minds. We're not going to be able to understand what this is. So there's great fear in that. So she is there to be able to help us through. We go to the next one. It says, not realizing oneself as Dharmakaya, the minds of sentient beings are overpowered by negative emotions. These beings wandering in samsara are my mothers. I supplicate Mother Tara, deity of great compassion, please protect us. So the Dharmakaya is, as I said, this is the truth body. This is the mind of the Buddha that we have within ourselves, that we have that. And the minds of sentient beings are overpowered by the negative emotions. The afflictive emotions blocks our recognition of that true nature. If this diamond is symbolic of that true nature, it's blocked up by our afflicting emotions. and our wisdom confusions. But as we begin to remove those blockages, the light from this diamond begins to come through. So we say that Mother Tara, deity of great compassion, are the practices and teachings that we go through to be able to remove those blockages so that light of wisdom comes shining through. So that's why we practice as Mother Tara, deity of great compassion. The next one is, and the meaning of Dharma is not born in one's heart. If we really don't take this into our own heart, one just follows the words of conventional meaning. So in other words, we're just following, the phenomenal nature of all this intellectual stuff that we're just processing and saying, well, this is it. And I'm looking for truth in this everywhere I go. Not just on this planet, but outside the planet in the solar system and out of the solar system into the galaxies and sending out spaceships and satellites and observatories and telescopes to tell us what the rest of space is and so on out there. And thinking, well, that's all reality. What about the reality that's within here that is invisible, our spiritual reality? So that's what this is going to. It says the minds of sentient beings are overpowered by negative emotions, by all the non-dual or the dualistic nature of all these investigations. These beings wandering in samsara are my mothers. So we look at all beings as being our mothers, and this is how we're able to show them compassion, as we would give compassion to our mothers for their suffering. I supplicate Mother Tara, deity of great compassion, please protect us. Or excuse me, I got off on the wrong one. Then one just follows the words of conventional meaning. We're just looking at, the teachings that we receive in school, in college, and so on like that. We are deceived by delusory philosophical views and dogmas. So all the different traditions, the things that we learn in school, they may be secular, they may be religious, whatever. We're consumed by those. And the dogmas, if you don't do this, you're going to go to hell. If you don't do this, you're not going to succeed. If you don't do this, instead of critical thinking and thinking, wow, that purity is within me, that Buddha nature is within me. I'm learning a system to be able to recognize that on my own terms. But I'm learning this system to help me to do that. In other words, if we sat here by ourselves and say, okay, sit here till you get enlightened, nobody's going to be very successful at that. But here's a system to learn how to do that. You process it and maintain the purity of the essence of what it is that's being taught to you, and then you have your own experience with it, instead of following dogma of what this one says or what that one says or something like that. So it says, I supplicate Mother Tara, a perfect wisdom, please protect us. The perfect wisdom of this true nature that we have. We have all this wisdom within ourselves. It's a matter of being able to clear away all the blockages so that wisdom comes up. Then the next one, it is difficult to understand our own mind is Buddha's mind. Exactly what I was just saying. Seeing nature mind is not familiarizing it through practice. Seeing nature mind, but not familiarizing with it through practice, we are lost in unwholesome worldly activities. So in other words, we may read these things, we may hear these things, but without practicing these things over and over again, we just get lost in our worldly activities. You can sit here for 2 hours and chant and do all this stuff, and then go out in your car and go out tonight and start doing other things, and you completely forget about what we were talking about today. So the object for us is to be able to stabilize these practices in our lives, and then when we go out, we become more judicious as to what we engage in. If we know that we're going to go out and we're going to be contaminated through doing bad things to ourselves, causing misdeeds for others' sake and so on like that, we start cutting ourselves off from doing that. We simplify our lives. We make our lives simple and easy and pure. Wholesomeness and give up the unwholesomeness. And the practices help us to do that. I supplicate Mother Tara a perfect mindfulness, please protect us. So that's what I was talking about this morning when I was talking about mindfulness. All these things are mindfulness for us to be able to help us to stay within this system, to stay on this path, and not let ourselves get lost into all the fun and games that we experience in our unwholesome, phenomenal world that have gotten us to this confused state. And I would think that all of us are here today because we've exhausted all those possibilities and we haven't been satisfied with that. And now we're saying, well, what is the spirituality? Let's look at what the spirituality is. So that's what we're trying to do here. So this is Mother Tara, a perfect mindfulness of the phenomenal nature and of the absolute nature. And we experience the absolute nature through our practices and through our meditations. Then the next stanza is, the absolute nature of mind is self-arisen, non-dual Buddha wisdom. Yet, because of habitual grasping to dualistic conception, we are bound by it no matter what we do. So the absolute nature of mind is self-arisen. What that means is, if you sit here, it's like a glass of muddy water. You go outside and you go to a pond or whatever that's full of mud and silt and everything, and you take that glass and you can't see through it. It's completely opaque. But you sit that glass down, and you sit it down long enough, and so much of that sediment will come down to the bottom, and you'll be able to see through the glass. So our mind is a lot like that. We're all muddied up. But if we can sit quietly, in the quietude, in the peacefulness, with the guidance of how to center our mind, how to peacefully allow thoughts to just move through our mind. It's like that glass of water, the silting down, and we become a clear mind. And then so it's self-arisen, and we realize the non-dual Buddha wisdom. We be able to get glimpses of that non-duality, of that purity, of our mindfulness, of our body, speech, and mind, as being the body, speech, and mind of the enlightened ones, of the Buddhas, and so on. So, yet because of our habitual grasping to dualistic conceptions, again, our aspiration, our desires to play games, to have the new car, have the new house, have this, have that, and all these things that we want to attach to, and then, or be able to have aversion to, because, oh, I don't want that, I don't want that. And all we're doing is just playing this this dualistic game with ourselves, that we're missing all this. That because of habitual grasping the dualistic conception, we are bound by it no matter what we do. So we have to break those links to that dualistic nature that's in everything, all this phenomenal world. Samsara is all dualistic. So we have to break the links to be able to do that. So I supplicate Mother Tara of non-dual wisdom. Please protect us. It's very clear. It's very sharp and very clear. And we go to the next page. Although we abide in the perfect meaning of absolute truth, although we abide in the perfect meaning of absolute truth, we do not understand the interdependence of cause and effect on the relative level. We are ignorant about the true reality of phenomena. So although we abide in the perfect meaning of absolute truth, okay, we've read this, we've been taught this, we've considered this, and although we know it's there, we don't understand, the way in which it manifests in this display. We don't understand this interdependence of cause and effect on the relative level. There's the absolute level, and we have an understanding of it. Maybe we have some kind of an experience with it, but then we don't understand all the myriad ways in which it affects us in the relative level, in the phenomenal nature. So we are ignorant about the true reality of phenomena, what phenomena is. We see it as one thing, but it is actually all these things together. We're bringing everything onto the path of recognizing phenomena as simply the display of the absolute nature and purifying it and being able to abide within that purity in the phenomenal nature. And that takes work. So I supplicate Mother Tara of two truth omniscience, please protect us. The two truths, the absolute truth and the relative truth. You know, everybody's looking for the truth. And they think they're going to find the truth through a telescope and stuff like that. But, you know, it's all phenomenal nature that we see, all these appearances. The absolute truth is within us. It is something that is spiritual. So then the last one says, like the nature of space, which is beyond conceptual limits, the reality of all conditioned phenomena is no different from that. But there are disciples on the path who do not realize it. So here it's very elusive, it's very subtle. It says, like the nature of space, which is beyond all conceptual limits. It's a mind blower. You know, it's beyond anything that really we can conceive of with our brain. The reality of all conditioned phenomena is no different from that. So the phenomenal nature is the same as the absolute nature, but we just don't have that point of view to be able to see it from that point of view yet. And we're developing doing that. The way in which we do that is through our practices, is through actually experiencing those different points of view. So we have our point of view as human beings and so on, but what's the point of view of the Buddha? What's the point of view of the Bodhisattva? What's the point of view of Tara? And so on. That's what we need to be able to recognize, that we have that within ourselves, to see all this phenomenal nature as the Buddha, as the enlightened one. Om Ahom, may my body, speech, and mind become inseparable with the body, speech, and mind of all the enlightened ones. That's what we're trying to do. So the reality of all conditioned phenomena is no different from that, but there are disciples on the path who do not realize it. They're still chasing reality in phenomenal nature, or they think that this is it and there's no absolute nature, or they don't know how to get it. So they're only being satisfied with just a portion of what it is, of what it is to be a human being, because we experience all this as human being. Being a human being is a great gift. It's a gift that we've given to ourselves. And to what level are we going to be satisfied with this gift? Are we going to be at the physical level, at the intellectual level, or at the spiritual level? Or can we combine all three of those levels and live as a superman or a superwoman? There was a great philosopher who lived over 100 years ago named Sri Aurobindo, and he coined the idea of a superman who had a great physical body, great intellectual body, but also had a great heart. And the Superman that we read in the comic books and see in the films and so on like that is that kind of being. In those stories, those early stories and everything, he never killed anybody. He never drew blood. He would use his superpowers to subdue non-virtuous evildoers in order that they might be able to learn how to redeem themselves. So for us to be in the same way, to not bring harm to other beings, but to be able to magnetize them, to bring them in, to be able to subdue them by bringing them in with our wisdom, with our skillful means, so that they may receive the transmission of the wisdom from our heart into their heart. That's what we're trying to do, to be a community of super beings, of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. So I supplicate Mother Tara a perfect enlightenment of the three kayas. Please protect us, the three kayas. The body of the Buddha, the speech of the Buddha, and the mind of the Buddha. So Tara, in each one of these cases, each one of these seven paths, you see, is the wisdom teacher who can lead us to this. Not that all the others won't. I mean, it's all part of the same thing. But here, Tara is the mother of all this. So it's very powerful. The more you do this practice, the stronger it becomes. When Kempo gave this translation, it was about a year and a half ago, something, 2 years ago, and we did this every day with him online, on Zoom, because it was during COVID. And we would recite this every day and several times, and each one of us would take a turn doing it on different days and so on. And I memorized it myself at some point, and by doing that, I really began to read between the lines, read between the words. Really, the meaning of that really came into my heart. And I said, oh, I got this. I've been practicing for years. I understand Tara. I know what this is. But then the more I got into it, the more I realized what I was missing and what I needed to work on and so on. And everything took on a brighter colors. Everything became deeper meaning for me. Everything became more interconnected with each other. Everything else that we do here in the deity yoga and all the other practices that we do. Any comments or questions? Okay. I didn't mean this to be anything, a definitive talk, but I wanted to tantalize you with, the inspiration to take this up. So let's begin now, if you don't mind. And if we can go to the last page here, which is not numbered, well, what I've done is I've just extracted the English. So our eye is not wandering in places, looking at this, that, or the other thing on the pages and looking at the page numbers and everything. Here it's all on one page. So what I like to do is go through and each one of us read the entire 7 verses. This is the practice for today. So, B, if you'll start, and then go to Kate, and then Tom, and then behind Tom is Roger, and then Brandon, and then Curtis, and then Tommy, and then it'll come back to me. Paula, do you want to read?
Not really.
Okay. All right, so B, when you're ready, please read.
The 7 verses of supplication to Tara. In the realm of the unborn mother, the Dharma Dhatu, abides the reverend mother, the deity Tara. She bestows happiness on all sentient beings. I supplicate Mother Tara of Dharma Dhatu to protect us from all fears. Not realizing oneself as Dharmakaya, the minds of sentient beings are overpowered by negative emotions. These beings wandering in samsara are my mothers. I supplicate Mother Tara, deity of great compassion, please protect us. If the meaning of Dharma is not born in one's heart, one just follows the words of conventional meaning. We are deceived by delusory philosophical views and dogmas. I supplicate Mother Tara of perfect wisdom, please protect us. It is difficult to understand our own mind is Buddha's mind, seeing nature mind, but not familiarizing with it through practice, we are lost in unwholesome worldly activities. I supplicate Mother Tara of perfect mindfulness, please protect us. The absolute nature of mind is self-arisen, non-dual Buddha wisdom, yet because of habitual grasping to dualistic conception, we are bound by it, no matter what we do. I supplicate Mother Tara of non-dual wisdom, please protect us. Although we abide in the perfect meaning of absolute truth, we do not understand the interdependence of cause and effect on the relative level. We are ignorant about the true reality of phenomena. I supplicate Mother Tara of two-truth omniscience, please protect us. Like the nature of space, which is beyond all conceptual limits, the reality of all conditioned phenomena is no different from that, but there are disciples on the path who do not realize it. I supplicate Mother Tara of perfect enlightenment of the 3 kayas, please protect us.
In the realm of the unborn mother, the Dharma Dhatu, abides the Reverend Mother, the deity Tara. She bestows happiness on all sentient beings. I supplicate Mother Tara of Dharmadhatu to protect us from all fears. Not realizing oneself is Dharmakaya, the minds of sentient beings are overpowered by negative emotions. These beings wandering in samsara are my mothers. I supplicate Mother Tara deity of great compassion, please protect us. If the meaning of Dharma is not born in one's heart, one just follows the words of conventional meaning. We are deceived by delusory philosophical views and dogmas. I supplicate Mother Tara of perfect wisdom, please protect us. It is difficult to understand our own mind is Buddha's mind. Seeing nature mind but not familiarizing with it through practice, we are lost in unwholesome worldly activities. I supplicate Mother Tara of perfect mindfulness, please protect us. The absolute nature of mind is self-arisen, non-dual Buddha wisdom. Yet because of habitual grasping to dualistic conception, we are bound by it, no matter what we do. I supplicate Mother Tara of non-dual wisdom, please protect us. Although we abide in the perfect meaning of absolute truth, we do not understand the interdependence of cause and effect on the relative level. We are ignorant about the true reality of phenomena. I supplicate Mother Tara of two-truth omniscience, please protect us. Like the nature of space, which is beyond all conceptual limits, the reality of all conditioned phenomena is no different from that, but there are disciples on the path who do not realize it. I supplicate Mother Tara of perfect enlightenment of the three kayas, please protect us.
In the realm of the unborn mother, the Dharmadhatu, abides the Reverend Mother, the deity Tara. She bestows happiness in all sentient beings. I supplicate Mother Tara of Dharmadhatu to protect us from all fears. Now realizing oneself as Dharmakaya, the minds of sentient beings are overpowered by negative emotions. These beings wandering in samsara are my mothers. I supplicate Mother Tara, deity of great compassion, please protect us. If the meaning of Dharma is not born in one's heart, one just follows the words of conventional meaning. We are deceived by delusory philosophical views and dogmas. I supplicate Mother Tara of perfect wisdom, please protect us. It is difficult to understand our own mind is Buddha's mind. Seeing nature mind, but not familiarizing with it through practice, we are lost in unwholesome worldly activities. I supplicate Mother Tara of perfect mindfulness, please protect us. The absolute nature of mind is self-arisen, non-dual Buddha wisdom. Yet, because of habitual grasping to dualistic conceptions, we are bound by it, no matter what we do. I supplicate Mother Tara of non-dual wisdom, please protect us. Although we abide in the perfect meaning of absolute truth, we do not understand the interdependence of cause and effect on the relative level. We are ignorant about the true reality of phenomena. I supplicate Mother Tara of truth omniscience, please protect us. Like the nature of space, which is beyond all conceptual limits, the reality of all conditioned phenomena is no different from that. But there are disciples in the path who do not realize it. I supplicate Mother Tara of perfect enlightenment of the three kayas, please protect us.
In the realm of the unborn mother, the Dharmadhatu abides the Reverend Mother, the deity Tara. She bestows happiness on all sentient beings. I supplicate Mother Tara of Dharmadhatu to protect us all from all fear. Not realizing oneself as Dharmakaya, the minds of sentient beings are overpowered by negative emotions. These beings wandering in samsara are my mothers. I supplicate Mother Tara deity great compassion, please protect us. If the meaning of Dharma is not born in one's heart, one just follow the words and conclusion or meaning. We are deceived by the illusory philosophical views of dogmas. I supplicate Mother Terra of perfect wisdom, please protect us. It is difficult to understand our own minds and Buddha's mind. Seeing nature's mind but not familiarizing with it through practice. We are lost in wholesome, worldly activities. I supplicate Mother Terra of perfect mindfulness, please protect us. The absolute natures of minds is self-arising, non-dual Buddha wisdom. Yet, because of habitual grasping to dualistic conception, we are bound by it, no matter what we do. I supplicate Mother Terra of non-dual wisdom, please protect us. Although we are bid in a perfect meaning of absolute truth, we do not understand the interdependence of cause and effect at the relative level. We are ignorant about the true reality of phenomena. I supplicate Mother Terra of truth omniscience, please protect us. Like the nature of space, which is beyond all conceptual meaning. The reality of all conditioned phenomena is no different from that. That there are disciples on the path but who do not realize it. I supplicate Mother Terra of perfect enlightenment of the three kayas, please protect us.
In the realm of the unborn mother, the Dharmadhatu, abides the Reverend Mother, the deity Tara. She bestows happiness on all sentient beings. I supplicate Mother Tara of Dharmadhatu to protect us from all fears, not realizing oneself as Dharmakaya. The minds of sentient beings are overpowered by negative emotions. These beings wandering in samsara are my mothers. I supplicate Mother Tara, deity of great compassion, please protect us. If the meaning of Dharma is not born in one's heart, one just follows the words of conventional meaning. We are deceived by delusory philosophical views and dogmas. I supplicate Mother Tara of perfect wisdom, please protect us. It is difficult to understand our own mind, is Buddha's mind. Seeing nature mind but not familiarizing with it through practice, we are lost in unwholesome worldly activities. I supplicate Mother Tara of perfect mindfulness, please protect us. The absolute nature of mind is self-arisen, non-dual Buddha wisdom. Yet because of habitual grasping to dualistic conception, we are bound by it no matter what we do. I supplicate Mother Tara of non-dual wisdom, please protect us. Although we abide in the perfect meaning of absolute truth, we do not understand the interdependence of cause and effect on the relative level. We are ignorant about the true reality of phenomena. I supplicate Mother Tara of truth omniscience, please protect us. Like the nature of space, which is beyond all conceptual limits, the reality of all conditional phenomenon is no different from that. But there are disciples on the path who do not realize it. I supplicate Mother Tara of perfect enlightenment of the three kayas, please protect us.
In the realm of the unborn mother, the Dharmadhatu, abides the Reverend Mother, the deity Tara. She bestows happiness on all sentient beings. I supplicate Mother Tara of Dharmadhatu to protect us from all fears. Not realizing oneself as Dharmakaya, the minds of sentient beings are overpowered by negative emotions. These beings, wandering in samsara, are my mothers. I supplicate Mother Tara, deity of great compassion, please protect us. If the meaning of Dharma is not born in one's heart, one just follows the words of conventional meaning. We are deceived by delusory philosophical views and dogmas. I supplicate Mother Tara of perfect wisdom, please protect us. It is difficult to understand our own mind as Buddha's mind. Seeing nature mind but not familiarizing with it through practice, we are lost in unwholesome worldly activities. I supplicate Mother Tara of perfect mindfulness, please protect us. The absolute nature of mind is self-arisen, non-dual Buddha wisdom. Yet, because of habitual grasping to dualistic conception, we are bound by it no matter what we do. I supplicate Mother Tara of non-dual wisdom, please protect us. Although we abide in the perfect meaning of absolute truth, we do not understand the interdependence of cause and effect on the relative level. We are ignorant about the true reality of phenomena. I supplicate Mother Tara of true truth omniscience, please protect us. Like the nature of space, which is beyond all conceptual limits, the reality of all conditioned phenomena is no different from that. But there are disciples on the path who do not realize it. I supplicate Mother Tara of perfect enlightenment of the three kayas, please protect us.
In the realm of the unborn mother, the Dharmadhatu, abides the Reverend Mother, the deity Tara. She bestows happiness on all sentient beings. I supplicate Mother Tara of Dharmadhatu to protect us from all fears. Not realizing oneself as Dharmakaya, the minds of sentient beings are overpowered by negative emotions. These beings wandering in samsara are my mothers. I supplicate Mother Tara, deity of great compassion, please protect us. If the meaning of Dharma is not born in one's heart, one just follows the words of conventional meaning. We are deceived by illusory philosophical views and dogmas. I supplicate Mother Tara of perfect wisdom, please protect us. It is difficult to understand our own mind as Buddha's mind, seeing nature mind, but not familiarizing with it through practice. We are lost in unwholesome worldly activities. I supplicate Mother Tara of perfect mindfulness, please protect us. The absolute nature of mind is self-arisen, non-dual Buddha wisdom. Yet because of habitual grasping to dualistic conception, we are bound by it, no matter what we do. I supplicate Mother Tara of non-dual wisdom, please protect us. Although we abide in the perfect meaning of absolute truth, we do not understand the interdependence of cause and effect on the relative level. We are ignorant about the true reality of phenomena. I supplicate Mother Tara of true truth omniscience, please protect us. Like the nature of space, which is beyond all conceptual limits, the reality of all conditioned phenomena is no different from that. But there are disciples on the path who do not realize it. I supplicate Mother Tara of perfect enlightenment of the three kayas, please protect us.
Any comments or questions? Okay. We go back to page 58 in the Deity Yoga book. We'll recite the mantra 7 times. Om Tare Tu Mama Ayojana Punye Pushtam Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tu Mama Ayojana Punye Pushtam Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tu Mama Ayojana Punye Pushtam Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tu Mama Ayojana Punye Pushtam Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tu Mama Ayojana Punye Pushtam Kuru Soha. Om Tare Tu Mama Ayojana Punye Pushtam Kuru Soha. Om Ayatare Sapari Var Argam Gratita Soha. Let's start that over. So we're making offerings now to all the Taras that are all in all of nature, all beings. We've been sending that light to all beings now, and they all become Tara. So now we're making the offerings to them. Om Ayatare Sapari Vara Argam Pratitsa Soha. Om Ayatare Sapari Vara Padyam Pratitsa Soha. Om Maya Tare Saparivara Pushpam Pratitsa Soha. Om Maya Tare Saparivara Dupam Pratitsa Soha. Om Maya Tare Saparivara Alakam Pratitsa Soha. Om Maya Tare Saparivara Alkande Pratitsa Soha. Om Sara Tare Saparivara Nuitaya Pratitsa Soha. Om Maya Tare Saparivara Shapta Pratitsa Soha. The crowns of gods and demigods pay homage to your lotus feet. You who liberate from all unfavorable conditions, I praise and prostrate to Mother Tara. La dong la min cho pengi, shabgi pe mo la sene, pag pa kun le jose ma, droma yung la chak to. I make the offerings, give praise, and then dissolve into the state of non-duality. Meditate in the state of mind as such. Cho ching to de bajramu. So dissolve all the beings, all the white Tara beings into white light, all dissolving into the Tam syllable, into your heart center. And the Tam syllable rising from the bottom to the top, becoming invisible, into the emptiness, into the shunyata. Just rest the mind in the state of meditation, the Mahamudra. Take a deep breath and hold it. Exhale, open your eyes. Okay. Now the dedication. By these virtuous deeds may I quickly attain the wish-granting wheel, and may all sentient beings, without exception, be established in that state. Dewa di nor dudai, yizi korlo drugyane, drowa chikang malupa, digi salago pasho. Okay, that completes the sadhana part. We have the lineage dedication to do yet. Any questions, comment?
Yeah. Let's say I wanted to do these practices at home. I wanted to do a session where I do white Tara or green Tara and then also recite the 7 verses of supplication. Would I do it like we did today where we did it, I would like do the mantra recitation and then the 7 verses and then the offerings? That's a good place to insert it?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can certainly study the 7 verses on your own, but to actually do it in a practice, it's good to put it into the practice with one of the Taras.
Is it good to read it 7 times?
Sure. You do it a mile around. You want to get to know it? Do it a mile around. Yeah, you'll memorize it.
That was the big stress that Kempo would really stress, is to memorize this.
Yes.
Just constantly memorize it. And if you don't do anything, just over the course of the day, just repeat it constantly, over and over. After you memorize it, then it becomes second nature. Once it becomes second nature, it really falls deeply into your heart and mind.
Yeah.
So yeah, you really stress memorize it. He used to scold at me. Memorize it.
That's right. Yeah, it's very powerful, and the more you do it, the more you realize its power.
It is very powerful.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you all. Let's go to page 157. So this is so earlier I gave a description of the Kagyu Lamas. So now we are going to make our dedication prayer to those lamas. So we begin by reciting in English. Dorje Chang, Talopa, Naropa, Marpa, Milarepa, Dharma Gampopa, Pagma Drupa, and Lord Kumpa. Please bestow upon us the most auspicious blessings of all the Kagyu Lamas. By this virtue may I achieve omniscience, by defeating all enemies, confusion. May all who travel on the waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death cross the ocean of samsara. Bodhicitta, the excellent and precious mind, where it is unborn, may it arise. Where it is born, may it not decline, but ever increase higher and higher. I pray that the Lama may have good health. I pray that the Lama may have long life. I pray that your Dharma activities spread far and wide. I pray that I may not be separated from you. As Manjushri, the warrior, realized the ultimate state, and as did Samantabhadra, I will follow in their path and fully dedicate all the merit for all sentient beings. By the blessing of the Buddha who attained the 3 kayas, by the blessing of the truth of the unchanging Dharma as such, by the blessing of the indivisible Sangha order, may the merit I share bear fruit. By the virtues collected in the 3 times, by myself and all beings in samsara and nirvana, and by the innate root of virtue, may I and all sentient beings quickly attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, precious enlightenment. May the teachings of the great Trikumpa Ratna Shri, who is omniscient, Lord of the Dharma, Master of interdependence, continue and increase through study, practice, contemplation, and meditation until the end of samsara. And the long life prayers, please. For this realm encircled by snow-covered mountains, you are the source of every benefit and bliss without exception. Tenzin Gyatso, you are one with Avalokiteshvara. May you remain steadfast until samsara's end. Embodiment of the three precious jewels, Padmapani, who holds the teachings of the victorious one, seeing the all-goodness meaning with the wisdom eye. May you, who are spontaneously established activities, live long for hundreds of kalpas. Noble man Jushri, the Lord of Speech, who manifests the teachings of the, who raises the lamp of the sage's teachings. May you, who are the light of the Dharma, live long for hundreds of kalpas. The one known in the Holy Land as Aryadeva, emanated into the Gar clan of eastern Tibet as Jodingpa, the heart son of Jigden Sumgon. May the life of glorious Garchen remain steadfast for 100 eons. In this age of strife, when the victor's teaching faces hardship, through his powerful Vajra-like conduct, he takes on himself the heavy responsibility of the unbiased teaching. May Garchen, the son of the teachings, live long. Om, Ah, Hom. Om, Ah, Hom. Om, Ah, Hom. May my body, speech, and mind become inseparable with the body, speech, and mind of all the enlightened ones for the benefit of all sentient beings. Thank you all very, very much. You're welcome.
Garchin's niece.
So next week, Garchin will be, Kenshin Rinpoche will be here. And then, if you like, we can continue this the following Saturday. If you want to continue doing practice, we can do another practice out of the sadhana.
The next following, right?
The following week, yes. Do you have email?
Yes, I do.
You know, you should give me your email. Do you use WhatsApp?
I do. I think. What's that?
Well, I can invite. It's a communication platform, and it's much easier to use than email or texting. So I can send you an invitation for that if you give me your telephone number and your email. Then I can put you on all our lists so that you get all the communications. Yes. Okay. Well, thank you.